We are live. What's going on, everybody? Hello, ladies and gents and aliens and droids. Gather around the hollow transmitter and buckle up for the ride of your life because you are now tuned in to Lightsaber Radio, the most outrageous Star Wars show in the galaxy, where we live and breathe every Star Wars, every day, every Star Wars topic, and we explore the mind-blowing and jaw-dropping fan theories that are actually came true, which was kind of hard. Today, we're going to dive deep into the depths of Star Wars universe and uncover the hidden secrets behind these theories. We'll be analyzing every detail and trying to figure out whether these people had a force vision or whether they were just plain lucky. But for one thing for sure, these theories will leave you scratching your head and wondering what the future holds for the Star Wars franchise. But that's not all, folks. As always, we have news and rumors, and we have the Impossible Quiz today. We're back with the Impossible Quiz. We missed a couple episodes, or we missed one episode, kind of did a game, and then we kind of just went over some of the older questions in other episodes. But that's okay. What we got for today. So get your blue milk and get ready to be transported into the world of Star Wars theories and predictions.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Last we will be ourselves.
I have a bad feeling about this.
You are now if you only knew the power of
Here it comes.
Let's go.
You are now
Hello there.
So what's going on, everybody? We got Star Wars team leader in the chat. Chris is in the chat. Darth Kyrie's in the chat. Infect is in the chat. What's going on, guys? How you guys doing today? CJ Garrison.
I'm doing good. I can't complain, dude.
Got some bad news this morning, but
Got some bad news this morning.
yeah,
What
my
happened?
family friend passed away. So
Oh, that's
Oh,
yeah,
dude,
that's
I'm
never
sorry.
good.
I mean,
thing.
he
Well,
went.
he's-
From what
he's
I'm
one
hearing
with
is
the Force now.
well, from what I'm hearing, he went into sleep. So that's a peaceful way to go. So
I want to go in some ass.
Dude, I'm sorry. I had like a great week, and now it's like, oh, don't talk about it. That's sad.
no, I had a great week too, and I mean, like I said, I mean, it would be tragic if he died in a tragic way, but. Like I said, if anybody in my life could pass away, I'd hope they'd pass away in their sleep, so it's not painful and they don't see it coming.
I want to bust a nut and it'd be like, and just die. That shit would be awesome.
You're dumb as shit.
That sounds like Kyle's way to go.
Are you gonna do it while skydiving?
No,
Skydiving.
I did that.
Deadass,
one
dude.
time.
I
One
had
time's
this
enough.
old guy. I was bartending one time. I had this old guy. He's like, I want to be having sex naked while skydiving and die. And I'm like, that's a.
Yeah, that's a.
It's
You're
a little
very
much.
specific.
That's
Yeah,
a little
you're a
much.
little. He was drunk as shit, but he was very adamant that that's how he was going to go out. Haven't seen him since. He might have done it.
What's going on, Darth Carter? He said it not so great, but trying to work
Work it out.
Hope y'all are good.
It's all good.
Now it's it's like I don't know. I try not to think about death as much as possible. I just hope it just happens. Just get it
That's
over.
most
with.
people. Just don't think about
Try not to think
it.
about it.
It's not a thing. Don't think about it.
No. Because I'm sitting over here fantasizing about it. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're over here
It's an everyday
fantasizing about
dream.
death and you got some issues, you need to go talk to some people. There's some really good psychiatrist things. Now they got that online psychiatry thing that's pretty good too.
You need a good counselor. I got a great counselor.
We're not being sponsored by BetterHealth, so we're not going to.
Hey, that is a sponsor we can have. I'm not gonna lie to you. Michael Rosenbaum, he does the Inside of You podcast. He played Lex Luthor in Smallville. He's sponsored by him. He talks about him all the time. I would be willing to talk about him.
Actually, Joe Rogan, I think
I've heard him all over the place. So yeah.
Time
me
Suck, Brandon from Time
Ryan
Suck, they're
Show.
sponsored by Better Health. I think a lot of people are sponsored by Better Health. That'd be a good sponsor for us to get. We should try it out. Hit them up, see what they say. Okay, so today's show is going to be an interesting one because when it comes to predictions, in Star Wars, it can be tricky business. And even those with the history of accuracy are not always correct. Many Star Wars predictions are based on rumors and leaks, which can be unreliable. Therefore, it is important to take all predictions with a grain of salt and not assume that they will necessarily come true. And after hours of research, I could only find 4 that were credible. So hopefully my team had better luck than I did. So this is going to be a hard one. But before we get to all that, we have a tradition here at Lightsaber Radio, something to get our outrageous juices flowing. Our form of an icebreaker, which is called the Hosbreaker pun. The Empire Strikes Back. Garrison's going to give us a crazy scenario, and then we're going to give you our most outrageous responses. And we want everyone in the chat to join in. Everybody watching, join in. So put your answers in the chat. So Garrison, drop that transition video.
All right. So I feel like this one would go well with kind of what we're talking about today. And also it kind of goes in hand with the mind wipe we saw in last Mandalorian episode. So if you could like mind wipe yourself and rewatch or forget about one thing in Star Wars in order to rewatch it, what would it be?
To rewatch it and have that same excitement?
Yeah. Like this is it's the first time you ever watching it again. So you
Empire.
can experience watching it for the first time again.
I would wipe my mind and rewatch Empire for the first time.
You think so?
It's my comfort movie, but yeah, I would
just
love to have
mind
that
wipes.
feeling again.
If I could choose something like to wipe my mind up, I'd mind wipe my entire Star Wars experience and start from the very beginning and just
Really?
rewatch everything in Star Wars.
That's not
and
the
just-
question, Kyle. Come on.
If we,
No cheat code.
okay, so it can only be one.
Yeah, like one like fact, one episode. Just, I mean, obviously we would all like to like forget all of it and rewatch it all, but we're not letting that happen.
One thing.
One episode. It could be a TV show. It could be like a fact.
Be a TV show. I would say Rebels then.
Rebels.
Yeah, I would want to forget all about Rebels and rewatch it all over again. Rebels is my shit. I love Rebels.
I mean, for me, besides like just forgetting about the sequels and never watching them again, just kidding. I think I would probably do like forgetting that Anakin turns into Darth Vader
Yeah, that would be kind of awesome.
and watch like the prequels again. I feel like that would be really cool. Just not knowing that Anakin's going to be Darth Vader and kind of seeing that transformation. Because like when you watch Anakin as a kid, you're like, all right, you're already expecting like, all right, somehow he's going to turn into Vader and you're just waiting for it. If you had no idea, I feel like that'd be a whole other like, it'd be really cool to watch.
Yeah, that would
Rewatch
be,
Revenge of the Sith, yeah.
that would be.
Yeah, so for me, I think it would definitely be like just forgetting that Anakin is the one that becomes Darth Vader and watching that
No,
transformation.
okay, I got.
from, like,
Can
a
I change
different
my
perspective.
answer?
What?
I would forget about Ahsoka, so I have to go back and watch everything that Ahsoka's in, from the Clone Wars movie, all of Rebels, all of the
Really?
Clone Wars, because that
You
would
like
be awesome.
Ahsoka, though. You like
Yeah,
Ahsoka.
I like
a lot.
Ahsoka. So if I forgot Ahsoka and could go back and rewatch and all, because I get way more stuff to watch because I'd get to watch the Clone Wars movie, which we're watching tomorrow. Then I'd get to watch all of the Clone Wars and get to watch all of Rebels. That's awesome,
true.
right there.
That's a good point.
That's a lot of fucking Star
That
Wars
is a
content
lot
I
of
get to
Star Wars.
rewatch.
That's 7 years
Yeah.
on top of another 4 years.
That's a good point.
That's
That's what I would
that's
forget.
11 years of Star Wars. Holy shit.
That's a lot.
God, 11 years of it.
Yeah, dude,
You're
that's a lot
wiping
to
away.
catch up on.
That would be awesome as shit. It would be rough to get through them first 3 seasons of Clone Wars again. But I
But
can't say
if you
that. I
watch
can't
the
really say
Clone
that because
Wars
it'd be the
movie-
first time you ever watched it. It'd
Yeah.
be like brand new. It wouldn't be that bad too after you watched it, and then you'd be like,
I don't
God
know.
damn, that took a long time.
The first time I watched it, I didn't really like the first seasons of Clone Wars. So, I mean,
Wow.
it'd still be, I don't know.
Yep, Lenny, new mic cover.
But
The death.
yeah, for me, it's definitely like Revenge of the Sith or like learning that Anakin is like Darth Vader. That'd be so cool to experience again.
Yeah, that
Or
would
the
be-
whole like
just just
Luke,
remember
I am your father.
Yeah,
If
just
you could
remember.
only pick one thing, like if you could only pick like one moment, that it was just one moment, what moment would it be? Just one moment.
One moment.
One moment.
I would like, or one like just one part. Like I would have to say the lightsaber duel in Revenge of the Sith.
Oh
Watching
yeah.
that again.
Oh, yeah.
For the
jeez.
very first time, because the first time I watched it, I was jumping up and down. Fucking kill him, Anakin! Kill him! Cut his damn
You
head
wanted
off.
Anakin? That's
I wanted
yeah.
Anakin to win.
Yeah.
I ain't a Kenobi fan. I ain't never liked Obi-Wan Kenobi. I've always been a Darth
I never
Vader
liked
fan.
that Obi-Wan
I
Kenobi. He
loved
was
it.
a bad
I loved
cookie.
it when he stood there and took it like a bitch and died. Just took the lightsaber.
You didn't take it like a bitch. You took it the opposite of a bitch.
He just fucking collapsed and just disappeared. That shit was awesome. I thought. Tell me, did you guys ever think that's exactly what happened when you got killed with a lightsaber? Like you didn't get cut in half, or like if you got killed with the lightsaber, you just disappeared. For the longest time, I thought that's how you died.
Oh, really?
Like if you got like cut in half with a lightsaber, it just disintegrated you. I thought that forever. I was like 5, but you know, I thought that. I really thought that's what happened when you died. If you die, like if you got an arm cut off or a hand or a limb cut off, you didn't die like that. You know what I'm saying? You just would be missing your limb. But if you got like chopped in half or you got killed, you just disappeared. I thought that's how everybody just happened. That's what the lightsaber did to you.
I think it would be super cool to like learn that like Vader's Anakin's father, because like by the time I watched Star Wars, right, it was like everybody knew that. Like I knew that going into it. That,
Oh yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So there was never any surprise for me. You know what I mean? When he says, Luke, I'm your father, no, I'm your father. I was like, yeah, everybody knew that, dipshit. Like, but like, you realize like, no, nobody knew that. The only reason I knew that is because like I'm watching Star Wars way late because I was born flipping decades after. You know what I mean? So that would be cool to like actually see, because I never actually saw that. I never knew.
I never
other
thought
than
about how
that.
much it has to suck for you young people that didn't get to see it as it happened.
What are you talking about? I got to see 1, 2, and 3 as it happened. To me, that's
but you didn't
awesome in my own generation.
Yeah, but you didn't get to see like the originals. Like,
no, and I actually
knew
have
most
got
of what
to see
happened before you ever got to watch it.
But I did get to go see the remastered in theaters. So,
but you already kind of knew what was going on. You already, like Garrison just said.
The only one I'd seen was Empire. I'd never seen Return. Do you not remember
but you
my
knew
story?
that. You knew, okay, but by the first time you watched, like Garrison, you watched Empire Strikes Back, you knew that Darth Vader was Luke's father. Everybody knew that. Like, people don't even watch Star Wars know that shit. Everybody knows that. It kind of sucks because that's like one of the pivotal points in Star Wars that made it so great.
Yeah, and I knew Anakin was Darth Vader. Like, there was no like big like reveal for me in Star Wars.
Which would kind of suck, man. Like, I would want to wipe my mind and start over from the beginning just so I could fucking not know none of this shit. Like, if they could just wipe your mind and then you could just go back and watch the entire saga, everything Star Wars, and not know any of the information about it yet. Just sit there for like an entire fucking week and just watch Star Wars back to back to back. Just watch everything Star Wars. That would be the most awesome thing. You know, I would do that. I'm going to find out if they can wipe your mind of certain shit.
I would. I don't know. There was something when I was a kid. There was something about it that like drew my attention. I mean, yeah, my grandfather watched it, but like
seeing awesome.
Seeing Darth Vader as a kid, it was like, who the fuck is that? Who is that? And then, you know, growing up in that generation of watching Anakin Skywalker rise and fall, it was, oh shit, okay, well, I mean, he's like that. And then later on, I learned about Revan. You know, I learned about Revan, and Revan's this is a very similar story. He had a very good rise. He fell to the dark side, and then he rose back up. Anakin, if you want to be technical, did the same thing. Big rise, big fall, and then he rose back up one last time to end him for his life to end a proper way.
So for our audio listeners, Chris just put in the chat, wish I could forget the Rey Skywalker scene and just never watch the end of the movie again.
Well,
real talk.
That was my first answer, but then I said just kidding. So
that would be awesome.
But, yeah,
that would
I
be
would
awesome
like
as
to.
shit.
I
would
think
say-
a moment
I wish
that
they
I
would make a
wish.
spoof of that shit. Somebody needs to make a spoof of that shit.
Of what?
Of that fucking scene. Like somebody needs to remake that scene, and when she says Ray Skywalker, the old lady just reaches up and smacks the shit out of her. You ain't no damn Skywalker.
Shut the fuck up.
You better put
That shit would be-
respect on Smee's name. She knew Smee.
That would be funny as shit. We should do that. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna see if I
She'd
can.
be like, I
Unreal
knew
Engine
this.
that
She would
whole
just
fucking
respond
thing.
like, I knew the Skywalkers, and you're not one of them.
You're not a Skywalker. You're a freaking bum.
You're a fraud.
Fraud. Okay, so now when this topic was brought up, and Tori's the one that brought this to our attention, I was like, oh, I got to looking online, and I was looking, there's like a gang of fan predictions that have came true. But when you started looking at the credibility of the fan predictions, a lot of them are just, you know what I'm saying, like everybody had that thought anyway. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't nothing that was really, really great. And then a lot of them, there's no one that you can go back and like, who's the one that came up with this prediction? And you search 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 and you can't find out who it was. So it's like, all right, how can it be a prediction if nobody can be credited for that prediction? And it got me on like a rabbit hole. I ain't gonna lie, I went on a rabbit hole like last night. I spent like literally like fucking 10 hours yesterday and this morning, like fucking looking at all this shit. Cause is it a prediction if there's no credit to that shit? Like, okay, who said it? Like, who was the one that predicted this shit? Or, you know, you got someone like Mike Zero, which predicted a gang of shit to be right in the sequel trilogy, but then everybody found out he had an inside guy. That's not really a prediction. You were getting told the answers. You know that these things has happened, so it's not really a prediction. You're cheating. You know what I'm saying? So it was really hard for me to like, I don't know why I went down it. I mean, I was like intense in this rabbit hole. Like my wife was yelling at me to come eat dinner. I forgot to take my medicine last night.
You got obsessed.
I got obsessed with this because I was like, dude, there's a lot of predictions out there. Like Screen Rant got like 4 or 5 articles on it. There's all kind of articles, like a whole bunch of different Star Wars articles on these predictions. But who made the predictions? Like who were the fucking people that did this shit? Who was the first person to say this shit? You can't come out with a fucking thing 5 years after the movie and then say you predicted this. Like, how did you predict it? When did you predict this? Give me a date so I could go back and reference your fucking shit and see if you're lying or you just making shit up. Because people do that. We know that people do that. People do that shit all the time, man. Oh, yeah, I predicted this was going to happen. When? 3 months after the movie came out? That's not a prediction. You went and watched the movies and then you said this. I told everybody I said this. So it was kind of hard. Now, there's some that, like we were all saying, that just fan theories, everybody was saying the same shit. You know what I'm saying? Before it was even considered a theory, we were all saying some of the things that was going to happen. But where did they start? Like, who was the first person that said it? And that was kind of like where I got, like, who was the first person to say it? If it's a fucking fan prediction and everybody was thinking, but who was the person that gets credited for that fan prediction? Who's the first one to say it? Because you know how shit runs rampant in the Star Wars community. One person says something, next thing you know, everybody's saying the same damn shit.
It spreads like a fucking plague. Like
Yeah. So it was really hard to find. Now, I only found 4 that was actually credited. You could go back and you could look at the date and time that they said the shit, where it's at, and you could find that they said it way before. And there was no way that they could fucking possibly know. And I did research, like, is there a way that this could have been leaked to them? And some of them are kind of iffy. You know what I'm saying? Some of them, well, I know one for a fact, it was like, I can almost guarantee this person just got it right. So I'll start off real quick. And then we'll go over the other ones that could be, they're just multiple fan theories. We'll go over a bunch of stuff. But these are the 4 that I found. A Reddit user by the name of Lamparoru, if I said that
what?
right.
That's all I heard.
Lamparoru predicted how Boba Fett would survive the Sarlacc pit a few months before the show. Now, from all the sources that I could find, it said only people that knew about this scene were Tim, John, Dave, and one CGA creator and editor because it was all done CGI.
What are you talking about? With
There
that
were like
Parks
books and
no,
like
that in Parks and Rec. Do you remember that guy in Parks and Rec, Patrick Oswald? He had that scene where he's in front of the city councilor and he's like, "The sands of Tatooine." Arm reaches out with Mandalorian
yeah.
on.
No,
That was how it happened.
Oh.
Not
Yeah,
how
no,
he got
literally,
out of
if
the
you
ground, how he
listen to
came
that
out of the
video-
ground. This dude. Tim, John, Dave, and one CGI creator and editor were the only ones to know about this. So unless one of them four leaked it, that was it.
Well,
So
what I'm saying,
I
though,
think it
with
would
that
be very
Pat-
hard to be leaked. But he described how it would be done by using the flamethrower to kill the Sarlacc.
That's what literally on
Rec
work
did.
on Parks and Rec. That's how he described it at the city council meeting. He fought his way through the Sarlacc and
my
used his
credit goes to
flamethrower.
Parks and Rec.
Yeah, my no, literally.
Well, this is the
Patrick
dude that
Oswald
gets-
in the middle of that mayor's meeting described it the exact same way we saw it in Book of Boba Fett. The exact same way.
Yeah,
the
but
way he got out.
when was that done?
That was
this is
done
the
like
oldest-
10 years ago. That was like 10 years ago when Chris Pratt was just starting like getting popular in acting. Like
Well, this dude right here got the credit for it. He's the one that got the
Bullshit.
credit. It's on Star Wars
Garrison
Archives that he got the credit for predicting this.
Well, I think the difference is though, like Parks and Rec, they did it kind of as a joke. This guy was like serious about it and like
But
actually
yeah,
thought
Parks
it.
and Rec did it as a joke, and it happened the exact same way though.
Yeah.
It's like they took that Patrick Oswald like monologue that he did in front of city council and put it into live action just to make him happy because he is a huge Star Wars fan. So I think honestly,
So a Redditor, his name is James, but he goes by Greedos8. And he predicted that Kylo Ren would kill Snoke in The Last Jedi days before The Last Jedi was even announced. They didn't even know the name of the movie yet. He just said in the second movie, Kylo's going to kill Snoke. Which was hard for him to know since Andy Serkis didn't even know until the day of the shot was done. So the day of the shot, Andy Serkis
So
didn't
Andy
even know.
Serkis didn't even know he was getting tied.
He was getting
Yeah,
killed.
no. he
And
didn't
this
think he was
dude
going to get
predicted
murked.
that, and he predicted that the blade that it would be done by the Force. The Force would be used to kill Snoke, and that's basically what happened. He used the Force to ignite the lightsaber and then took it through Snoke's body.
Which I still thought was like the worst way to kill that
Worst-
guy.
I'm glad.
But
Snoke looked way
Yeah,
harder
see,
than that.
Pat Oswald definitely gets credit for Boba Fett. His episode was aired on 4/18 of 13. That was 10 years ago.
Another Reddit user, the Master Skywalker, predicted that one of Rey's parents was a Palpatine after the release of Last Jedi, way before the
Dude,
Rise of
yeah.
Skywalker was ever
See,
announced.
I remember
was-
everybody was hypothesizing about like whose Rey's parents were. Like I wasn't even like we didn't even like the prequels that much, or sequels that much, but we were so like
Everybody
curious
was talking
who-
about that. That
yeah,
was like
everybody was talking about
the
it.
hidden gem of it. That was like the best part of the whole sequel because you're just
yeah.
trying to figure out who. But I guess
the
this guy, like
is
right
Rey?
after,
Well, and the speculation behind Finn too, because everybody thought Finn's parents were gonna
Yeah.
be Lando and some other person. And
Yeah.
come to find out, Lando had a daughter. I mean, there's a lot to it.
but he predicted that, and he predicted it like right after the release of The Last Jedi. I guess he went to watch The
Yeah.
Last Jedi, and then he knew that she was a Palpatine. So, or that one of her parents was a Palpatine, and we technically didn't find out that one of her parents was a Palpatine until The Rise of Skywalker, and we really didn't find out any information about him until the book. When the book came out, that's when we got more information that her dad was basically a clone of Palpatine.
Yep, Shadows of the Sith. I love
And-
that book. I have the hard copy and the Audible. It's a good book.
Yeah, it's a really good book. But they didn't nobody know. I love the way that he described everything. And then a YouTuber named Alex, or as all of us know Alex from Star Wars Explained, predicted that Luke's green lightsaber would appear in The Last Jedi. He predicted this long before the announcement of the movie. But I don't know if that's a prediction. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, he might have been the first one to said it that we know about, but everybody said that shit. I was saying that shit like, oh, we're gonna see both the lightsabers in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
A lot of that, like, is that a prediction or is that Disney listening to fans wanting to give fan service?
Or is
Well,
it
and at the
just
same
common
same
sense?
time,
Like,
though.
is that really a
Yeah.
prediction? Common sense. We was gonna see Luke's green lightsaber. Like, dude, come on, that wasn't that hard.
A lot.
You know?
Well, I don't know. Call me a Debbie Downer, but I think a lot of the predictions about the sequels were fairly easy, just because like Disney's kind of predictable,
Well, and at the same time, like you can't have
and it's
Luke,
fan
like,
service.
You
Like, come on.
talked about Kylo destroying the Jedi Temple where Luke was on, and you're not going to give us that moment. You're not going to give us that flashback. That's bullcrap. You're going to, and how is it going to happen? Luke's going to, what we got is Luke's going to try to strike him down. Yeah, that was a given. What should have been like, I wish something could have been predicted was him having Darth Vader's kyber crystal as a necklace. Did you not see that?
What-
If you
did
pay
I not-
attention to his little shelf that he has where the compass is at, right next to the compass is a kyber crystal, a red kyber crystal that's wrapped around a piece of string and is a necklace. And it's Vader's. Come to find out, Mark Hamill even talked about it. It's Darth Vader's kyber crystal out of his lightsaber.
Bro, that's dope. That's the coolest necklace ever.
Yeah.
Come on, that's
Yeah.
dope.
He kept his father's kyber crystal. He couldn't unbleed
His
it.
grandfather.
So there's like
yeah,
there's
yeah, right.
like Reddit stories about how when he took his father's lightsaber apart, he wanted to unbleed the crystal and have Anakin's original crystal. It's the crystal before it became Vader's crystal.
Right.
And then he found out that the first lightsaber that he had, that was Anakin's kyber crystal. The new lightsaber was a fallen Jedi that Darth Vader killed and put the kyber crystal and bled it and put it into the the lightsaber. And there was a lot to it. And it was like, okay, well, so he just gave up and wrapped it around and made a necklace out of it.
All right.
Yeah. Like
Oh,
his
and-
kyber crystal, his green kyber crystal of Qui-Gon Jinn's. That's a fact.
Chris said I predicted who her parents were to after she used a lightsaber and does a stab. Chris says the only prediction I had was semi-correct.
Oh yeah, like
Was saying Reva would turn good at the end of Kenobi. I remember when Chris said that when we was over the thing. Chris said that.
Oh, yeah.
I remember him saying that. To my memory, Palps and Rey are the only two Jedi who stab forward with their sabers. No, because Dooku does it. Anakin
but
did it.
for me,
Anakin
like
stab forward because he'd stab forward and then remember he
Right.
rotates and so. But I mean that if you notice that, I didn't even notice that shit, so that could be true.
no, she stabs it in like a very particular way that looked for me. I took it as wow, this bitch is really uncoordinated. But I mean, so was the actor who played Palpatine. So I mean, he wasn't like he was a Shakespearean actor. He wasn't really like expecting to do kind of like large thrusting. You know what I mean? So
Oh, and it was like the guy who played Dooku. He wasn't the one doing like he didn't do any of the lightsaber scenes. He only did the face scenes. They had a stunt double in there for him because
Right.
they wanted Dooku to be such a swordsman.
right. Oh yeah, for Dooku, you gotta have like
Yeah, well, yeah, and he's so popular, and he's so like
You
now
know,
that we're getting more about it, I think it's
that
just
was
gonna
one of the
increase.
scenes when Dooku and Yoda was fighting. That was one of the scenes that I hated the most out of all the lightsaber scenes, because with the CGI they kept having to do cut scenes and they cut to you just see the blades touching, but you wouldn't see neither one of them, and then Yoda would jump around, but you never seen like them in the same scene together. If you watch, you'll never see both of them in the scene together. And I didn't like that. I'm like, dude, I thought CGI at that point was way better and they could actually do that shit to make it look like that. You don't ever, it's always a cut scene right there. It cuts to the other character because they have to implement the CGI in. And it just, I don't know, I never liked that one. It just never rated me on my top lightsaber scenes just because of that. I love the way the Yoda was flipping around and everything. That shit was awesome. But them actually fighting, because you don't ever see them really like fighting. It's always jumping back and forth between the characters because of the CGI. And I was just like, dude, I wish somebody would redo that and actually make it to where you see both of them at the same time. That shit would be awesome. They could probably do that shit with Unreal Engine and shit now.
I don't know.
That shit is
I
pretty
mean,
dope.
I guess I really never noticed that. To me, the scene, it was like, dude, they're fighting so fast you can't even see them.
Nah,
Good
they
shit,
do. They do a lot of
though.
jump scenes. They jump
because,
back and
like,
forth between the characters.
That was like the kind of Star Wars I grew up with. So it was like, when you're watching it, you're not picking out those little flaws. You're kind of just like, whoa,
shit.
like,
Dude, they did the same thing with the Vader and the Vader and Luke scenes. If you go back and watch their fights, it's a gang of jump cuts in that shit because it jumps back and forth between the characters. But there was still two characters there, so they could throw in them, you know what I'm saying, them like holding the blade like, you know what I'm saying, and fucking swacking down and seeing both characters. They could do that shit, but you know what I'm saying, when you're using CGI, it's a lot harder to put both people in the scene at the same time and make it look real. So you switch back and forth. It's easy to put in a red piece of a lightsaber when Yoda's slashing that, you know what I'm saying, or slashing that Dooku. You can, it's easy to do that. But having them both in the screen at the same time, that's a lot harder. You know what I'm saying, especially with that type of movement and action. Because in the CGI, it's going to get all wonky and shit, and it's going to look weird. It's getting better, though. It's getting better.
was somebody's phone vibrating? I swear that was all I was hearing.
Yeah, my phone was vibrating.
Oh,
my
okay.
alarm went off.
It was like, and I was like, what?
I don't know why I have a 12 o'clock alarm
sorry.
set on a Saturday. I don't know.
It's 12 o'clock there for you. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's 12.
Sorry, I forgot about global
Global warming. I forgot about global
daylight
warming.
savings.
Better calm down, Al Gore.
But that's
It's
the only
10
ones.
for me.
That's the only ones that I could actually find that you could go back and look at the date they said
11
it,
for me.
and they got credited by Star Wars for making it a prediction. You know what I'm saying? It's in the Star Wars archives. That's the only 4 that I could find that was even credible. That actually had a name attached to the first person who said it. Which you got to remember too. This is just people that are actually known. You know what I'm saying? They put it on a platform. Somebody could have been sitting at home and predicted all this shit.
Oh,
We
for
just
sure.
don't know about
I'm
them.
sure people predicted it. It's the rich stealing from the poor, you know?
know
Some
what I'm
guy
saying? So-
sitting in his basement figured this out, and then some YouTuber was like, I'm going to claim this.
I'm gonna gain all the popularity from you claiming that you know what you're doing.
Screwing
Yeah.
over the little man. Stick it to the man. I'm just kidding.
So that's the only ones that I could find like date, creditable time, and it's Star Wars themselves credited these people with predicting something that actually happened.
Wow.
That was it.
Dude,
Now, there's a bunch of other fan predictions. There's a shit ton of fucking fan predictions. And a lot of them, I was like, oh, I remember when I said that before they were happening. But it's like, did I really say that? Or did I read something and then I said it? So I can't really sit back and say I made a prediction because I don't know. Because did I read something that said it, and then like 2 days later, I was like, oh, man, this is what's going to happen. Because I read so much shit and listen to so much shit that it's kind of hard. So I have to be careful if I say, when I usually say I'm predicting something, is because I just got done watching an episode of something, and that's the first thing that popped in my mind, and I think that this is what's going to happen. But I don't think I've ever been correct. I don't know. I might have. I'd have to go back and listen to some of our older episodes and was like, was I right on that? Did that come true? Because I don't know.
I mean, I still think they're going to introduce the Mask of Mandalore.
I think they will. I just don't think
Mandalorian.
it'll be this season.
I think if they do, I think if they do a Book of Boba Fett season 2 or season 3, I think, because we know Boba Fett has to get it. He's the one who finds it from the books. Now, if we're going off the books, in the books, so
I don't think they'll do another Book of Boba Fett. I don't think enough people liked it. I think they're like, oh, well, that sucked. So I just don't think they're going to try again with that.
dude,
I think they will. I think,
I was reading
honestly,
go ahead, CJ.
I think they will because of the way they left off and what he said to Fennec, saying that like this isn't what I am or who I am.
I mean, I'm
It
sure they
left it-
wanted to.
I think they will because it'll tie into the Mandalorian again. I think it'll turn right back around and we'll have 2 or 3 episodes where Mando's in it, and it'll lead into season 4 or 5 of Mando that leads to an all-out war between him and Boba Fett when Boba Fett shows up with that helmet.
My thing is this. I just read an article. I think it was by, it might have been by Screen Rant. It might have been by somebody else. I can't remember. But during the book of Boba Fett, 30% of subscribers to Disney Plus jumped off the platform. 30%. And I don't know if it was because of the book of Boba Fett.
And I think that's part of the reason where Mandalorian is getting a rocky start, because so many people didn't like the book of Boba Fett and stopped watching it, and now they're lost in the beginning part of Mando because, like, whoa, what did I miss? I think it left a bad taste in some people's mouths.
I don't know, but they lost.
Well,
30%.
you also picked the wrong director to do a Boba Fett series.
Well,
Bryce Dallas Howard's episode. Well, I'm talking about Robert Rodriguez was the main showrunner in this.
Yeah, he did the first 2 episodes,
and it could have set a pace that could have progressed properly. I don't think he did a good job. He was mainly on set more than the other directors. So,
yeah, I just seen that, Chris. Chris said they just canceled Willow, so I see Disney dropping a bunch of the shows that didn't do well. And I don't know, I liked Willow. It wasn't that bad. I liked it. It wasn't the greatest thing in the world, but I give the whole thing like a 6, 7. It wasn't that bad. I like Willow, so I like the movie Willow. So
do you think, like, I know nothing about Willow, so do you think a lot of people that watched it were like people who already liked Willow, and it just didn't appeal to other people, or what?
I think it has a lot to do with who's in it. I think it has a lot to do with the actors that are in it.
I don't know. I thought all the actors did a good job.
No, so old girl, that girl, with the red hair,
with the red hair.
I can't remember her name.
The chick that played in Star Wars.
In Solo, yeah. So she's been in Solo. She was in Captain America, or she was in the Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, Falcon and Winter Soldier.
And then she turns around as in Willow. I think people are tired of seeing the same actors in Disney properties. She's been in 3 separate Disney properties now. I think they're tired of her, though. But she is, but you can't. The thing is, it makes no sense to see her in Marvel, turn around, see her in you see her in Star Wars, turn around, all of a sudden she's in Marvel, and then you see her again and she's in Willow. Like, you're just reusing your actors instead of seeking out somebody new, fresh face that could have great potential. You're just recycling somebody that you have on your payroll.
And it would have been different if she was like the main character, but she really wasn't the main character.
No, and she's a great actress. She was a great antagonist in Falcon and Winter Soldier. She was a great antagonist.
Yeah, she was. I don't know. I could see Disney dropping. I liked it, but you know what I'm saying? I could also see where it tanked. If you didn't know about Willow, it wouldn't make no sense, though. If you never seen the movie and you watch the series, it's not going to make no sense. You're going to be like, who the hell is the Lord Danny? Like, why is this bitch important? You know what I'm saying? Who the hell is this little midget guy that's a wizard that looks like he sucks? You know what I'm saying? Like, but I like the overall morality of it. You know, it has some very good morals in the stories that they told. They told some really good stories for the series. So that's what I liked about it. It was more story driven than it was a lot of CGI stuff, which they had the CGI in there and they had some really good parts in there, but the story was really good. I like the story that was involved.
Chris says only HBO can pull off the whole keeping actors around and putting them into new shows. I don't know. Hot take. Like, I don't know if I was like the biggest, like, the actress who did Ellie, she did a good job, but she didn't feel like the Ellie from the game for me.
Well, and that's a whole different actress. It's a whole different set.
It was like a different character to me.
Oh yeah, and that was the whole problem. People were throwing a fit because it wasn't the girl who did the voice acting for Ellie in the game. She did
so good. I loved the game. Ugh.
But you know, and the girl that played her in live action, yeah, she may like look like her similar, but she doesn't have the same like motions that we get in the game, the same emotions that we get in the game. You know, right. She was a
different character. She was just a different character.
And but HBO also has rising numbers because of the show.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's their top rated show. And they confirmed a season 2 and 3. They're doing
that's the
part
thing
2 in 2 seasons.
And that's the thing that happened with Book of Boba Fett and Kenobi. You know, they lost viewership, and I'm not going to say that it's all because of that, because there's other things that's on Disney. And so, because you got to think the same time that Kenobi was going on, She-Hulk was on, which was just
Yeah, and then the
worthless
same
and
time with
waste of
Book
time.
of well, and the same thing with Book of Boba Fett. At the same time, Book of Boba Fett, they had Miss Marvel, and that
Yeah.
was garbage.
You know,
That
they-
was, and
so
it was nothing to do with the actors. It was just poor writing. It wasn't to the comics. It was
why,
not
why
accurate.
does it seem like that's happening on the stuff that we really care about? It seems like they got poor writing and just stupid graphics and
Because they're
dumb
taking
shit.
viewers for granted. They think
But-
we're gonna watch no matter what, just because.
But
They're
when it
giving
comes
us
to
what
some
they think we
nothing
want.
ass bullshit that nobody wants to watch, this shit is excellent. Like, dude, I didn't even want to watch this. This shit is great. I wasn't even
Because-
thinking about watching this.
What I honestly think it is like, oh, here's a show. Everybody's gonna watch it because we're giving them the characters that they want, so they don't try. But then when they're creating a show where it's like, oh, we don't know if people are gonna like it, we have to try hard to make it good.
You should give that try with everything you do. You shouldn't ever
I agree.
half-ass or half-hearted anything that you make. If you're gonna, like, George Lucas never half-hearted anything. The man was always working on it. Even when he did 1, 2, and 3, he went back and remastered 4, 5, and 6 because he felt like it wasn't good enough. He's, to this day, I bet you 10 to 1, if he still had it, he'd be remastering 1, 2, and 3 because he did 4, 5, and 6 that way. You know, there's a lot to this. Like, Disney doesn't care about the quality. George always cared about the quality. He wanted the story to be clear. He wanted the story to be, you know, together. It made sense. It looked good. It sounds good. Everything flows properly. Everything makes sense to us fans. But there's enough little bit of like sidebars where it's like, well, I wonder what that's about. You know, and then we get it in a fucking cartoon because George loves doing that. Thank you. 6 seasons of Clone Wars,
7.
4 seasons of Rebels. But that's what I'm saying, though, is like that's how George did it. And that's why George was so popular. That's why George's work is like Indiana Jones. Every time you ended an Indiana Jones movie, you wondered where Indy was going next. In Star Wars, every time the movie was over, it was like, okay, what happened between like Empire Strikes Back to Return of the Jedi? There's I guess in the book, there was like a year and a half span where Han Solo was in carbonite and Han remembers a year of his life gone. What happened to that year? Because when we leave Luke, he's not a Jedi. He's not a Jedi. When we come back to Luke, he's a Jedi master. What made him a Jedi master? Give me that story. And George talked about it. George let people speculate and make books. And then now Disney's got a hold of it. Disney don't give a fuck. They don't. They don't care about that. They don't want to give us that story. They just want to make money. They just want to, the Mighty Mouse wants to make money. And if they really cared about making money, they'd do it the right way. They would do it the right way. They'd do it the right way the first time, and they would make more money doing so. They'd make a lot more money if their stories made more sense. Or they like keeping Boba Fett alive. That was a speculation in a book. What books were they, Kyle? I have them. I can't think of them.
Well,
There's
we know,
3
it's the Mandalorian Wars.
Yeah. It's a 3-book series.
It's about
And it made nothing but clear sense. It was beautifully written. Very beautifully written.
it shows
it's
how he
not-
gets out it tells how he gets out the Sarlacc, which was completely different than what they did in live action. Shows him go. He finds out about his daughter because he was married at one time. Because he gives up being a bounty hunter for a short period of time. It goes into he finds out about his daughter. He finds Mandalore's mask, but he's dying because he's still a clone. So his clone parts is dying. So he's like buying body parts and shit, trying to stay alive. And as he's looking for the Kaminoans so they can help him, he's looking for Lama Su. So they could repair it, and then they go all the way up to him taking over Mandalore and being the Mandalorian, which is a destroyed world, and him trying to figure out how to be a ruler of Mandalore, and he doesn't know very much anything about the Mandalorian culture because the only thing he knows is a little bit that his dad taught him, and his dad was a bounty hunter, didn't really teach him a lot about Mandalorian. So he's trying to figure all this shit out And that's what the 3-book series is about.
And that right there, like you could literally lead into that from what you screwed up in this first season. You can lead into it after that.
Well, we talked about this on Wednesday. We talked about like they have so many good stories in the books that they could do. But a lot of them they can't use now because they fucked up because they wanted to change characters. Like Ben is not a Solo, he's a Skywalker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You had Jason and Jaina in the books. You had Anakin in the books. You know, that was the 3 kids that Han Solo and Luke Leia had in the books. Right. So with making Ben the nephew of Luke Skywalker, you can't do none of those books now. So you eliminated those books. So it kind of left like you can't go back to these references or you can't use
and that
this
makes me
material.
Curious, like what they're gonna do, because we've had the rumors about how they're gonna keep going, making more that pick up after the sequels.
Well, after the sequels,
what the hell are they gonna talk about?
If they go after the sequels, they're gonna have to continue on with Rey's story. If they go after the sequels, unless they jump really far ahead to like after she's dead and it's about some Jedis that she trained or something like that or something, you know, they could do. There's multiple things that they could do. But the biggest rumor that's going around is the next one's going to have Grogu and Rey's going to team
Who's
up.
she
going to
train?
Older.
Who's she going to train? Lesson 1, call yourself a Skywalker when you're not. It's like,
but no, it's just like
and
there
you got
are
Kanan
still
Jarrus' son, Kanan and Hera's son, because I guess she was pregnant when at the end of, and this is just a rumor, but there's been a lot of speculation that she was pregnant at the end of, Hera was pregnant at the end of Rebels. So, you know, and by this time, the son is a little bit older, you know, and maybe she brings them. You got, I don't think Ahsoka's around after the sequel trilogy. I think she's already dead.
But,
I think,
you know, but with what we have left on the slate here, like, you screwed up the whole Skywalker Solo thing that you could have went off of and had a beautiful freaking continuation of the Skywalkers, but you didn't. You screwed that off. Way to go, Disney.
Damn, CJ's on one today.
Well, there's beautiful writing. There's references you can go off of. All you got to do is pay these fucking authors for the rights to these books. You spent all that money to write 3 shitty movies when you could have referenced 40 million different books. Okay, wipe that slate out on those books, right?
What's going on?
So we still have Revan, we have Bane. You can jump back. You don't want to shoot forward. You don't want to continue. Let's say they don't want to continue. Let's say they're like, no, we don't want to keep going with Rey. Then jump back to the Old Republic. Jump back and give me Bane, give me Revan, give me Malgus, give me all these things, Nihilus, give me all these things that we're getting in the video games. In a movie, we have beautiful actors that have openly spoken out to play roles like these, and you're not going near those. You're telling me that Dave Filoni doesn't want to do a fucking Revan movie? You're a liar. You're a straight up liar if Dave Filoni does not want to do a Revan movie.
Bro, maybe he's too scared. I wouldn't blame him.
I would say this was a prediction, but you know, with the leak that we got about the writers for the High Republic being in the writing rooms for the people that are writing the movies and some of the series, I've said this multiple times, I would not mind at all if they went with the High Republic. Because we're still going to get Yoda. They got some awesome Jedi. We got they got
the first Wookiee Jedi. Like, that's live action. That would be amazing.
You know, there's a lot.
There's so much to it.
There's a lot that they could do. And the stories is great. And the crazy thing about the stories is these are Disney productions. So Disney could just use this shit and make the damn movies. Disney owns Star Wars. All these books were written on Disney money. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, dude, they're putting all this money into making these books, the comic series. All of these are Disney properties. They can use these and they can make these characters and make these movies, and I would be perfectly fine with that. I think they would be way better than going to find out what's going on with Rey and Grogu 20 years later. Like, I don't give a shit. I don't care what happened with Rey, the name stealer. You know, I don't care. That's not something I want to see. I want to see some good Star Wars. I want to see some action packed. I
Like,
don't want to hear about her story of her. What I'm saying, her and Grogu.
but look, with
I
everything
just
they have, like you can turn around and you can do what you screwed up here. You can turn around and make cartoons, right? Let's say we want a Clone Wars esque styled Luke Skywalker kind of story. Mark Hamill still does voice acting. He's very, very good at it. Very good at it.
Oh, dude,
That
kills it.
That's what I'm saying. So you bring Mark Hamill in, you make him do not make him because he's going to do whatever he wants, but you bring Luke in and you can do a Clone Wars esque thing where we can get him after Return of the Jedi, where we can watch him build the temple because we saw it happening in Book of Boba Fett. But give us the training, give us a young Ben, give us that Qui-Gon, Dooku kind of story that we got, in Tales of the Jedi. You can turn around and do that again. You can make a 2 to 3 season freaking show just off of Luke training Jedis and doing the Jedi Order, and you can explain who he had there. I mean, like we have the Shadows of the Sith. It explains, the Church of the Force and how people believed in the Force, kind of like Chirrut, and they would go and go and pray per se and believe in the Force and go on fact-finding missions and find artifacts of the Force, of the Old Republic, the Republic that we got during the Clone Wars, the Sith, and they would go out and sought these out. And the Shadows of the Sith is a great explanation for that. I would love that in a Clone Wars-esque. If you want to fix it, do it the right way. Do not make another fucking movie, for the love of God. You can sit there with Dave and you can sit there with all these writers and make a beautiful Clone Wars-esque or just a cartoon. Like, even if you did it in Rebels fashion, I wouldn't be too mad.
CJ, what's up today? You're spicy, huh?
It's been.
I don't think that they're going to do that. Their pressure is on the movies. Star Wars fans want to see the movies. They want the experience of going into the movies. The good thing is Bob Iger said they're not going to do a movie until it's the right one.
Oh yeah, and I love Bob Iger.
Solo and how much money they lost on Solo, they're not going to make another movie until they have the right stuff written. That's why he's shelving all the movies that they've been talking about. They've already shelved 2 of them, and I'm just waiting for Taika's movie to be shelved because
it's going to get shelved.
I'm waiting for the next Star Wars video game to get shelved.
Bob has said in an interview that they're not going to put out nothing until they know that it's good. It's got to be the right story for it to be told.
They fired the other Bob and brought Iger back. His sole focus is on proper content, proper care to the franchise. When you hear him talk about it, it comes from a love and a passionate side. It's not for he likes making money. Don't get me wrong. He probably gets a hell of a good bonus for doing that. But at the same time, when he talks about it, when you hear him in interviews, he talked about it with passion and love, like it's his child or something. Like there's an intimacy, a love for this said thing that is just beautiful. And on top of that, he likes to make money. So if he's going to do it, he's going to do it the right way. That way he makes the most money. So why can't we what happened? Why did you get rid of Bob Iger in the first place? You pissed
Bob Iger retired. He didn't want to. He left, and he put.
But you pissed him off to the point where he came out of retirement.
Well, he came out of retirement because the person that he voted in, Bob Chapman, he's the one that put Bob Chapman in charge, and then he started screwing up. And Bob Iger had to come back and be like, "No, we got to fix this because this dude is tanking Disney because he's trying to do all." Bob Iger in a couple of the interviews with Bob Iger, he says basically he's the one that told Disney, he's the one that voted Chapman in because Chapman was the one that he thought was most like himself, and then Chapman just went on a whole different thing. So that's the reason Bob Iger came out of retirement.
You pissed Bob Iger off. Spicy CJ got me. But no, you pissed Bob Iger off and he came out of retirement. He probably had a beautiful severance package and a whole retirement plan. And then he's sitting there watching this. He's probably making phone calls because he's still connected. And I bet you Dave and John were like, dude, you got to get this. You got to come back. You got to get Chapman out of here.
Bob Iger was rich before he ever took over as the CEO of Disney. A lot of people don't fail to realize that Bob Iger used to be the CEO of Fox. And
Yeah.
when Disney bought Fox, he stepped in as chairman of Disney.
But that's what I'm saying, though. You pissed him off. He came back.
He wasn't really pissed off. He was just he just seen where it was going. He was like, all right, this is not working. I got to come back in and fix this because this dude is fucking up.
Well, yeah,
I don't know if he was so
you're
much
screwing
pissed
up a
off
leg.
about it. He just, when he sees, because you got to
His
remember, the
legacy
CEO's
died.
number one job is to please the shareholders.
Yeah.
That's his number one job. If Disney is losing money, they got to figure out what's going on. You know what I'm saying? The shareholders is who, because really, in all actuality, if you really think about it, Disney don't control shit. Nope. Disney is not really in control. The shareholders are in control. And if they are starting to lose money or something's going on, the shareholders are going to be pissed off because they're going to start selling off their shares. And if they start selling off their shares because they're looking at a loss of money, then Disney stock drops. It's like the same thing that just happened with the banks. Everybody wants to go to the bank because they hear something bad and pull all their money out. Well, then the bank don't have the money to pay them. And that's exactly how the stock market works. The stock market works by if a bunch of people start selling the stock, the price drops. And then your company ain't worth shit, and then you file bankruptcy and somebody comes in and takes over your company. Then that's how corporate takeovers happen.
We got Spicy CJ and economist Kyle today.
Well, I've just dealt in this shit before, so I know when it comes down to it, the shareholders are the ones that have all the control.
But
they want to make money.
It's just sad that, Chapman was given the reins to something so beautifully progressed. Iger took the bullet for the sequel trilogy, but he also was trying to line us out to a great continuation of Star Wars product. Same thing with Marvel, same thing with Disney movies and everything that they have. And Chapman came in and was like, cool, put out everything you can in a short amount of time and let's see who likes what and then get rid of what they don't. Well, if you made good content, if you made us something that we enjoyed, you wouldn't lose money. You wouldn't lose people. Okay, so you had Book of Boba Fett, Miss Marvel. Okay. Miss Marvel, poorly written. Great actors, poorly written. Book of Boba Fett, you brought original people in. You brought people from Mando in. You did all this stuff. Poorly written, lost money. Okay. We jumped to the whole She-Hulk thing. You put She-Hulk in. You have Andor coming in. You have all this stuff happening. And what happens? Nobody wants to watch it because they've already got the bad taste in their mouth. So you're losing money because you screwed up one time. You know what the fans want. You've seen what the fans have been asking for. Did I want more Boba Fett? God, yes. For the love of God, yes. Look, prime example here. But I didn't want it poorly written. Andor, we already knew that was coming through the pipe.
It was beautiful.
It was beautiful.
It was a masterpiece.
But you also have She-Hulk coming through, and it was garbage. And a lot of people left. Why pay $20, $24 for Disney when it's just poorly written stuff?
They robbing the shit out of you. Only pay like $9.99 for Disney.
Oh, I don't know how much it is because I don't pay for it.
Jesus.
It comes off my Verizon account. I have a year. Yeah. I have a year free.
I know what you're talking about.
So I don't have to pay for it, but at the same time, you're losing money because you're not taking the time. You're not putting the passion or the effort into something. If you take a little bit more time, you space things out. Like right now, 10-1, they're losing money for this Mandalorian Bad Batch shit that we're dealing with. If you put Bad Batch on Wednesdays and Mando on Friday, Mando ran the shit out of Friday when it was on Fridays. It was the top show because it was on Fridays. People stayed up on Friday night to watch it. They come home, they put Mando on because they were excited to watch it. You put it on a Wednesday, nobody wants to stay up and watch Mando on a Wednesday.
Bro, nobody wants to stay up and watch Mando right now anyways because it's not as good as it was.
It's because they're wanting to pump it out. They want to pump out content. They want to pump out freaking stories and not take the time. The first 2 seasons was time and it was easily progressed. Everything made sense. It flowed good. And that Mando wasn't competing with shit. It was just Mando. Loki came out, took over Fridays, and then you didn't continue with Loki. So why can't we have Fridays for Mando? Mando Friday. Bad Batch Wednesday. You can do 2 shows at the same time if you don't put them on the same day. They're looking at missed potential here. Like, you are screwing yourselves. It's not us. It's not us as fans. We want the content, but you're not giving us the proper content. And you're not airing it at the right time.
All right, we've been on the tangent for like 30 minutes.
I'm sorry.
Let me go through and read through. Let me read through some of the comments, and then y'all can get to y'all stuff that y'all found. Let's see. I done went up too far. Okay, so yeah, Chris, we'll be talking about that in a little bit. Chris said something about the Mando's 4th episode of Mando being the shortest one ever. Lenny says, speaking of that, did anyone catch that Den talked about growing up in the Mandalorian system? Concordia, Chris said. Yep, I caught that. But I mean, it kind of referenced that earlier because he said he was taken from his home after they killed his parents.
So what, I'm going to pull this up real fast while you're going through these. If you go back and look at the legend story about Jango Fett, it was the same thing. It's the same story. Other than the fact that Jango Fett's parents were killed on the moon of Concord Dawn because the Death Watch and the new Mandalorians were in fighting. And Jaster Morrill took him after the new Mandalorians slaughtered Jango Fett's family. But he was rescued, deemed into the Mandalorian people, and then became all this shit. So the stories are very similar. I wanted to pull that up real fast. Sorry.
Chris said, I wanted to see an old Republic movie shows. Imagine seeing the Battle of the Bastards like scene with all the Jedi versus the Sith battle. The problem with that, if they reference the books, or if they go off the books, if you go back to like the Jedi and the Sith battling in Bane, most of the time it was like one Sith, or the Sith wasn't even there. It was like the Jedi and the soldiers fighting against the Sith soldiers. There wasn't even like a lot of Sith there. The Sith were all at the camp being bastards and being letting all just the regular soldiers die. That's kind of how Bane was discovered. Lenny says, sit with me, make a Star Wars movie where a story is Bob Iger, Jedi, comes out of retirement and saves the galaxy. Star Wars from the Empire, Lucasfilm, Disney shareholders, and make the galaxy good again. Yeah, there's just a lot of, and it wasn't just the TV shows. I mean, they built the stupid Star Galaxy Cruiser dumbass thing. Now they got to redo all that. They jacked the prices up on everything to make up the difference for what they were losing on the TV shows, and people unsubscribing from the service, the Disney Plus service. So there was a lot of things that they were trying to do, and basically, hopefully, Bob, in which he kind of said it, there's a lot of things I have to fix, and he was like, and we're starting here. Movies is not really the priority at this point. Getting Disney Plus back online and getting from my understanding of what the article that I read was basically getting like Galaxy Star Cruiser. I guess they're going to redo all that. They're dropping the prices to where it's affordable. The Disney Cruise, the Star Wars Cruise, they're doing some stuff with that to make it better, bringing in, the proper stuff to make it more affordable and make it where people can come, because you're not making no money if it's too expensive for people to come.
Yeah, because you're not going to sell merchandise while you're inside. That's the problem. Why spend $5,000? If you spend $5,000, you're not going to want to hop in and spend another $200-$300 on a shirt or whatever they have. Like they have the specialty shirts or the Jedi robes or whatever they have on the Star Cruiser. I can't remember everything because they change it all the time. But you're not going to want to spend an extra $500-$600 more to get shit from the cruiser after you just spent $5,000 to get to the cruiser. Like, there's a failed system here, and I'm glad Iger's fixing shit. I'm going to repeat this. Thank you, Bob Iger, for coming in and rescuing the damaged goods.
Which Bob Iger ain't got the best, you know what I'm saying, because he did fucking failed fucking Fox, and you know what I'm saying. But at the same time, you know, he did a way better job at the content and making stuff affordable for people. Which you know, I'll still think some of that shit's affordable. You go to fucking Disney World for a day, it fucking costs you a grip of fucking money. But you know what I'm saying? At least he's trying to get it in a reasonable price for people, and he's trying to get the content that we're getting to be good content again. So that's always a plus.
Well, and yeah, you're spending a grip for a day, but it's something you can still obtain. You can look at a $700 day and feel okay because you got so much in that $700 day, you know. And 2.5 days of a Star Cruiser for $5,000, that's not worth your price. I can spend $5,000 and have a week at Disney, a whole week. So
Chris
I mean,
said maybe if Disney stopped trying to shove their whole woke agenda down our throats in every nice show movie, then maybe they could make some money back. You know, when I was creating the thumbnail for the watch party tomorrow, I was going through like a lot of the posters and shit for the animated series and the posters for the movie, for the animated movie. And they got Mace Windu in there. And there's a gang of the Chinese posters out that got Mace Windu in it. So why did they take Finn out? Why did China have a problem with Finn being in it? Why? Because it's not a cartoon?
Maybe. I have no idea.
It might be because it's Samuel L. Jackson and they're afraid of him. I don't know.
I didn't get it because I'm like looking through all these different posters and stuff that they got, you know, trying to get inspiration on, you know what I'm saying, on what to do for the thumbnail. And I'm just looking like, dude, Mace Windu's in a bunch of these, like, and they got like Chinese writing on them and all kind of different stuff because they was in China, you know, stuff on the internet comes from everywhere. And I'm like, so why did they have such a big problem with Finn being in the poster?
Because he's not a motherfucking badass. Because he's not Samuel L. Jackson.
I was just like, that doesn't make, you know what I'm saying, no sense. I didn't get that. So I don't know what the hell, like, why China was having such a bad problem with that and why Disney just, like, you know,
bent
we'll
over
on that topic another day. Hey, all right, Garrison, so what did you find any stuff for the theories?
Oh, like theories that came true?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't research like you did, apparently. Like, so one of the ones that I found was that there was something wrong with the Death Star, which I don't know if that's like a theory that came true, but it was definitely like one that I guess people needed. You know what I mean? So it was like, how is the Death Star so easy to destroy and blow up? Well, because somebody behind the scenes sabotaged it on purpose, right? When they built it. And so I think that was a theory that I think...
Death Star or the first Death Star?
First one.
The first one. Yeah. The second one, I mean, it wasn't even built yet, and they just...
Yeah, I was about to say half of it was missing, so it wasn't too hard to fucking figure that out.
Basically, the plot of Rogue One was a fan theory, and I think Rogue One kind of like adopted that theory. I think Rogue One was like, oh, I see what the fans think. Let's go with that. Is what happened.
I could see that,
but
because if you really think about it, I mean, dude, like, how easy was it? Like when I watched New Hope when I was younger, I was like, dude, that was like way too easy. You got this giant ass battle station, you just shoot some fucking plasma rays or plasma bombs down this hole, and it blows up the fucking Death Star. Like, dude, who the hell designed this retarded shit? I was like 5 when I was thinking this, so you know, I can get why it would be easy for somebody to theorize that somebody sabotaged it.
Yeah,
I can't remember when I was 5 that well, so you know I couldn't tell you if I ever thought that theory.
But like, I think everyone had kind of like thought that theory and been like, "Oh yeah, that seems good," before Rogue One even came out. And I think Rogue One just gave the story behind it, gave the story behind a plot hole that had been explained by fans. And so I think Disney just brought that to life. And so Rogue One, you know how I feel about Rogue One.
Yeah. So Rogue One was basically a fan theory that came true.
I think so.
Or it was a prediction that somebody predicted it. That's what it was going to be. And then Tony Gilroy just said, oh, this is a good ass prediction. I'm going to write a movie about it. Because it would be kind of hard. That shit was a long time before, you know, Rogue One came out. So whoever predicted that had to be kind of accurate, or had to be that's what they was going to either do, or that Tony Gilroy used the prediction as his building blocks to write the story.
Right.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Another one is that Qui-Gon would show up in the Obi-Wan series.
We speculated that.
Yeah, I think every fan.
I don't know if
that
that's
was
a
gonna happen.
prediction or it's just fan service. It's just what people wanted to see, so Disney did.
Well, my thing was.
I honestly
I kinda-
believe the fans willed that into existence.
I knew it
even
was
in
going
the
to happen.
book,
I knew it was going to happen just from the simple point of all of a sudden, out of the blue, a lot of the predictions, you can make predictions just by watching what's happening in the news. All of a sudden, they talk about Kenobi's coming out. And then all of a sudden, Liam Neeson's fucking on every damn news fucking thing, talking about some damn, he's not been asked, he's not coming in. Like, dude, you're already telling us that you're coming in. You're telling us that you're going to be there.
Your shitty press release stating that you're not going to be a part of it.
Yeah,
It's telling me you're going to be a
Fool
part of
anyone.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we haven't heard anything about Liam Neeson in fucking ever that had to do with Star Wars. And as soon as they talk about Kenobi, now you're getting all this press release and fans are asking you, and everybody you go, every TV, Cobain and all them that you go on, they're asking you, and you're like, I haven't been approached yet. We all knew that was going to happen. Like that, he had to come. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't have been a proper TV show if they didn't fan service like that. We all knew that was going to happen. I don't think that was a theory or a prediction. That was just common sense.
Yeah. Let's see.
I have one. I have one that makes me smile. Is Rex the Rebel. That's what it's called.
Oh, yeah.
So in Return of the Jedi on Endor, when they're holding the stormtroopers at bay, there's a guy who kind of looks like Rebels Rex.
Yeah.
Grizzly, bald, all that works. Well, fans speculated that was Rex after the season where Rex shows up in Rebels. I think it's season 2 when he shows up. Everybody speculated it. And George finally turned around with Dave and said, yeah, that's Rex. If you wanted to be Rex, that's Rex. I'll make it Rex. Fans speculated so hard and thought, hey, Rex was at the Battle of Endor. And, if you look at Rebels, it looks like the same guy. Dave did that on purpose, fun fact, because he wanted Rex to live past Endor. He wanted Rex to be a part of Endor and be a part of the rebellion. So Dave made it happen. So was it a prediction or a speculation? I think Dave did it just for fan service, just because he loves his clones and Wolf died. So he couldn't really keep Wolf. So he kept Rex. And it was like, yeah, Rex was there. And in a latest book that supposedly is coming out is more continuation of that Battle of Endor. And it's going to talk about like Ahsoka and Rex, and how Rex and Ahsoka were still a part of the rebellion, but Ahsoka was off doing what she was doing, what we saw in Mando. And that Rex is a high-ranking general in the New Republic, per se. And this is just a Reddit thing that I read, and I hope it comes true. I hope it's a good continuation of Ahsoka's story and why she was on that planet in Mando.
You think we'll get Rex and Ahsoka?
Yeah.
Rex
Oh God,
gotta be
yeah.
there.
Tim's already stated he would come back and play any
this
clone
dude's
they
gonna
wanted him to.
Bro, we know Tim's going to come. We know
Well,
Tim's.
my
gonna
only
be
thing
one.
about
Tim's
that
going to come
is-
back as Boba Fett.
My only thing is that by this time, fucking Rex is gonna be fucking, his body's gonna be dissolved and shit. Like, fuck, Boba Fett was an unaltered clone, and his body was failing by the time he was in his fucking 40s. How the fuck you think Rex
How
is
is
an
Rex
altered
not
clone
dead? Yeah.
is
But
still alive?
but that is expanded universe. That isn't the canon that we have from Dave and John. So maybe, just
Yeah,
maybe.
but we know that we know from canon that the clones body digresses with age, and their age is sped up. So if a person lived to be like an average human in the Star Wars universe lives to be 100, then they're only gonna live to be like 50.
But We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen there. Am I going to be surprised? No, I would love to see Rex one last time. We've never seen a live action Rex. We've never gotten one.
We've
We
never
got a
gotten,
live action.
Well, we got one live action clone.
It was Cody. We got Commander Cody in Revenge of the Sith.
Well, no, I'm talking
And then
about.
we got the one in
We got
Kenobi.
whoever it was sitting there begging for money
in
in
Kenobi.
Kenobi.
So if he was willing to come back as a grizzled, war-torn, homeless
But you got to look at the
veteran,
time, though. The time period, it's like 30 years done passed.
But if he was at the Battle of Endor, if you're gonna jump into Ahsoka, he's still old. I mean, you can throw Tem in that spot, and
'cause
you
he'd
can
be
send
what?
send Rex out in a proper way. You know, Rex dies doing something heroic for Ahsoka, or jumps in front of a lightsaber. It's something proper to send Rex off. You know, for the love of God, please do it the right way. Don't fucking dirty Rex like that. Please, Iger, please have some say in that. I don't think Dave will, because, like I said, he doesn't get to keep Wolf. He's a big Wolf Squadron fan. He loves his 104th Battalion, but if he gets to keep one of his clones and he gets to keep Rex, I would love to see Tem back as Rex.
Well, even if they brought Rex in and he's like old as dirt, he's like fucking like Yoda old. They do like a Yoda spot with him. He's like old as fuck. And he's just like all like just decrepit and he's falling apart, and he gives like Ahsoka calls him and asks him a question or something.
Even if it's a slight cameo of Rex.
That would be kind of cool to see.
The other one I have is Maul Lives. So Maul, there was speculation on Maul's return when we got Savage Opress. When they brought Savage in the Clone Wars, fans were speculating that it'd only be a matter of time before they returned with Maul. It was everywhere. When are we going to get Maul? How are we going to get Maul? What are you going to do? How are you going to bring him back? They're bringing him back. They're bringing him back. Everybody, the second we saw Savage Opress and the Night Sisters, were speculating that we were going to get, Darth Maul again. Which, fun fact, we did. And
which that was just, I think that was a fan service.
I think it was too, but
you Obi-Wan cut this motherfucker in two, and he survived. We seen two pieces of his ass falling, and this motherfucker survived. I think out of everybody, like I think I was more mad about Maul coming back, even though I like Maul, than I was about Palpatine. Palpatine was easily explained by cloning. Maul, this motherfucker got cut in two and fell down the fucking shaft and fucking splattered on the bottom. There's no way this motherfucker should have survived, but he did.
When the fans speculated that, it was not surprising. When he came back, I was like, "Oh, great, Darth Maul's back." At first, because it's like first time watching it, I was like, "Oh, great, here we go."
That's another example of fans just willing something into existence.
But at the same time, they did not do him bad. They did him very well. It was very impressive. In the beginning, it was not. The spider legs turning into the big droid leg.
I hated those spider legs so much.
I loved the insanity part of it. Like, I loved how insane he was in that pit.
Oh, so do I. That worked well.
I did not like the spider legs, and I did not like the B1 battle droid legs that they gave him. But when he came back and they gave him the real legs, like the Mandalorians gave him the real, like, prosthetic looking legs that would actually make him look proper, and they gave him more of a story, it was well done. I mean, they could have went two ways here. You could have gotten a crappy voice actor. You could have turned around and had a crappy story. Dave and George came in. They obviously didn't like the legs that they gave him, so they found a way to get rid of those. They didn't like how it was progressing. So what'd they do? They added more to it.
Yeah, I don't think, honestly, without Maul in the end of the last seasons of Clone Wars, and without him and Rebels, they would not have been as good as they were. Maul made them, because once Maul came into Rebels it was like, oh shit. And then when Maul came into Clone Wars, it made those episodes better. Maul was a good character, but I didn't like that they brought him back to life. You can't get cut in half and come back to life. That just doesn't happen.
Yeah, but you can go down a shaft and explode in the Death Star in some way.
Yeah, but that
somehow.
was just a
even
clone.
worse. That's
That was a
even
clone,
worse.
so I could accept that. That was just a clone. I can't accept this. An actual dude got cut in two and survived and fell down a shaft
But-
and then splattered on the fucking ground at the bottom of the shaft and survived.
It was
And
a
then-
trash shoot.
Yeah, I know. Well, whatever it was, it didn't matter. He fell
It
for
felt
a
like
grip.
as a
He was like,
fan, it felt like as a fan, I got shafted when I saw that.
But and it was, and they came in. They could have went one or two ways with it. And like I said, Dave and John weren't impressed with how it started, but they made sure to end it on a proper note.
I didn't
they
like
did
how
it the
Savage died.
I-
I thought Savage was more awesome than that.
I didn't think
Palpatine.
so. He wouldn't listen to Maul's training. Every time he questioned Maul beat the hell out of him like an older brother would. Like he wouldn't have stood a chance against Palpatine even if he was fully trained. Who trained who trained Maul? Palpatine. So the only way Savage could have had any progression is if he would have went and trained with somebody that was a good lightsaber duelist. Maul was, but Maul wasn't going to teach him everything because he wasn't going to die to Savage's hand. He's not dumb.
I know. I like Savage. Savage was dope. He was fucking
yeah,
Jedi up.
Didn't even have a lightsaber, just beat their ass without a lightsaber. Like the fact that happened.
Savage was cool.
But, and they could have went a million different ways and they didn't. And they gave us a good end to Maul in Rebels. His life started by killing Qui-Gon and dying per se to Kenobi, and it ended with Kenobi killing him.
And he got
So-
killed properly.
Oh yeah, and I
Got killed
love
the way that Qui-Gon should have killed him, but he tricked Qui-Gon and stabbed Qui-Gon. See, Qui-Gon dies from a stab through the abdomen, but Maul can get cut in half and survive. That was the thing that got me like, wait a
true.
minute, hold
Great
on.
point.
I loved the way they ended Maul. The way they ended Maul was beautiful. It was perfect. The way he was asking Obi-Wan about Luke, is he the chosen one? And Ben saying yes. And then, Maul saying he will avenge us. And Obi-Wan not saying a single thing. It was just a beautiful way to end such a dark character. And it was just because of what happened to Maul. Maul was all about revenge. Revenge against Kenobi, revenge against Sidious, revenge against the Mandalorian people. Like we saw that during, Clone Wars. He was getting done dirty, and what happened? He took over Mandalore. You want to fucking try to double cross me? I'll take your whole planet. So, I mean, that one, everybody kind of willed into existence, like Garrison and you guys said.
All right.
Everybody predicted Lando's return
in
in The Rise of
Solo?
Skywalker. No, The Rise of Skywalker.
I was like, in Solo, no shit. Like,
Yeah, no. Everybody predicted Lando's return in The Rise of Skywalker. That is the last one I have. Obviously, duh. That was the dumbest thing you could speculate. You can't have Luke, Leia, Han, Chewie, 3PO, R2, all these people. We're getting all these people, and you're not going to bring Billy D in to be his most iconic character he ever played? You can't say that's not going to happen. The only way they couldn't have done that is if Billy D. Williams passed away. And even then, they'd still found a way to do it.
they
Because
CGI him.
yeah, they'd find a way to do it. And fans speculated that he was going to be actually in The Force Awakens. God, were they wrong. Everybody thought he was going to return with Chewie and Han to get the Falcon back.
Oh, and they'd be like a trio.
Yeah. Because like in the books, Lando's still a gambling, smuggling rebel. And when we see Han Solo and Chewbacca on the Falcon, it's kind of like, okay, he's still smuggling. He's still being Han Solo. He's a friggin' war hero, but he still wants to do shady shit. Like, everybody was speculating that Lando would make that return and be with Han and Chewie. Fun fact, he came in The Rise of Skywalker in the most awkward situation ever. The weirdest planet during a celebration of some sort, and he's dressed in a weird-ass costume. Okay. What the hell? But everybody speculated that one too. But, I mean, they were wrong about the movie, but they were right about him returning. And I'm glad they put Billy D. Williams in a movie. Because it's Billy D. Williams. Be
Billy
pissed if
D.
they didn't.
Fucking Williams. All right. Is that it then?
Wedge's return. I got one more also.
Oh.
Everybody predicted that Wedge would make his final run and return in The Rise of Skywalker during the Sith, Battle of the Sith planet, which we did see. We saw Wedge.
That was cool too.
It was great to see Dennis Lawson behind a console flying a ship.
Right. I also liked because he wasn't like a big star of the original show, right? Like he was a big character, but he wasn't like Luke or Han. And I like how he was still in
But
it,
he's literally he survived the first trench run.
Yeah, I know, but I like how they
destroyed walkers on Hoth, and then turned around and made the second Death Star run with Lando.
Right.
And the fact that he's coming back to destroy the Sith Empire or the Sith planet per se, I think that's just crazy that this man has destroyed not one, not two, but 3 situations where Palpatine has been involved. The man is an animal.
Yeah.
You can't keep him out of the cockpit. I swear to God. I don't know. I've been listening to those. What is it? What's it called? They're Rogue Squadron books.
Mm-hmm.
And Wedge, man, he bitches a lot in those books. He's like, I made 2 Death Star runs, and everybody wants to talk about Lando or Han Solo.
Exactly, that's what I mean.
I was like, shit, dude. I could feel that. Like, you do something amazing, and the guy that told you to do it pretty much is the one getting all the credit. The guy who did the work doesn't get the credit. If it wasn't for Wedge, Luke wouldn't have made it. Yeah. If it wasn't for Wedge, Luke wouldn't have made it. And if it wasn't for Wedge, Lando wouldn't have made it. I'm just saying.
All right.
All right. Are we ready for some news and rumors?
Yeah,
yes, I have a lot.
This is Alton Castle for the only news you need, the HoloNet News.
All right, didn't mean to cut you off.
Whatever. So
Hasbro
is giving us more gaming exclusives. Gaming great exclusives. We're getting more Commando, Star Wars Commandos. We're getting a lot of the droids that they had in the game that you fought against. There's 2 new droids. There's an all red one. And then it looks like the Geonosis droid. And then we're getting an all black one, which is a commando droid. Not the assassin droid. The assassin droids are cool, though. They're giving us Funko exclusives for Star Wars Celebration 2023. The first one they dropped was Jar Jar Binks with his tongue out. Not very happy about that. Could care less. Don't like Jar Jar. I don't know if you guys seen the Saber Forged lightsabers at Walmart. Guys?
No, I haven't.
No? They're like a kid's, the lightsabers that we had as kids, the flick out ones. That's what they have for kids now, is the Saber Forged ones, and they're dropping a Luke Skywalker Return of the Jedi one. It does not look like his Return of the Jedi lightsaber, but it's got the green kyber crystal and the green blade. It's kind of cool. We have all of them except for this one and Reva's. They dropped a 2-pack for Celebration also of droids. It's R2-D2 and R5. R2-D2 is from the Mandalorian when he runs into Grogu. It's him wheeling in. And then it is the updated R5 that we see now in the Mandalorian. Hasbro's giving us Tusken Raiders, more Tusken Raiders from the Book of Boba Fett.
How
So
many
you're getting
more?
3. We're getting 3 more Tusken Raiders. So we're getting
They all look the same.
no. We're getting Book of Boba Fett ones where they have like the
Oh.
necklaces and all the fancy dancy bullshit.
I'm
On top of that, you can pre-order your 6-inch Black Series Jesse Clone Wars figure. The one that's got the
okay.
the Republic logo on his helmet and it's tattooed on his head. You can pre-order that now. It finally gave us a pre-order list. And the last thing is we're getting the speeder bike and scout trooper combo from Return of the Jedi.
Pre-sales.
Oh, just
There's issues with the pre-sales going on right now.
I know. But yeah, it's literally him sitting on a speeder bike. He's just chilling. Like he's just chilling on a speeder bike. So there is a lot of issues right now with Hasbro and Walmart and Target with your pre-orders. So be careful if you're going out and ordering stuff. It may be delayed or possibly denied. So just be careful. Make sure you're not spending money online too much because you may or may not get it. It's better to just find it in a store. That's all I've got.
All I had was about the upcoming Acolyte series. We're expected to have 8 episodes, each of which are supposed to be 60 minutes long.
Oh my
So
God, you're kidding me. They're going to give us that much?
Yeah.
Sorry,
8
that sounded
hours.
that sounded
8
like
hours.
fake enthusiasm, but it wasn't, I promise. It was just
But yeah,
I was trying not to
8
yell.
hours of Acolyte apparently.
Yeah.
So
That's
hopefully it's
freaking
good.
nuts.
It's a lot of time. I think that's a record for like their live action.
Oh yeah, an hour-long episode. The only time we got an hour was what? The first season episode 1 of Mando? Wasn't that like an hour?
No,
Or
the
is it
longest,
just
the longest
the
one
fact
was
that it's
Wednesday's
8 hours.
episode. The longest episode so far of Mandalorian was last week's episode.
I thought the season 1, episode 1 premiere was the longest one.
The longest episode, that was like 52 minutes. This one was 50.
No, the longest
6.
episode the Mando's ever had was 56 and 11 seconds.
And that was
Season
last
3.
Wednesday's.
That's sad because you gave us shit on that episode. I did not care about Pershing. I do because it leads to the cloning of everything, but not the point. Not the fucking point.
Yeah. However, this is still like not like 100% confirmed. I mean, that's what we think, but yeah.
It's rumored there. It's
Yeah.
rumored
I hope
to be
it's
long.
right. I'd love to sit down for an hour and watch that kind of story. I don't think you're not time crunching an episode or leaving us on a cliffhanger with an hour. And if you do, it's a proper way to leave it for the next one.
It says a post. It says a post on an agency site for the project's intimacy coordinator, Adelaide Waldrop, lists the series as having 8 episodes that'll each be approximately 60 minutes long. So I don't know. Take for what it will.
Take
I
it
don't know,
up with a
take that
grain of
out,
salt.
I guess. Yeah.
I don't know.
All right.
I
all I
want
had,
it.
Kyle.
I want it to happen.
All right, so I guess the biggest piece of news that I got, Rosario Dawson kind of she basically hinted, or she kind of spoiled it, that she said on the red carpet that she can't wait for episode 4 of The Mandalorian because she's in
gonna
it.
be in it. Oh, jeez.
She's going to be in it. So I don't know what this episode is going to be about. There was talk in the chat earlier. I think Chris put it out. This has like the shortest run time. It's like 30 minutes and some shit. It's really short.
Which why wouldn't you make the one with Ahsoka the longest?
Yeah.
Like you could have done that in this episode.
But she's going. She basically just spoiled Ahsoka's return. Basically, from what I'm reading here, she said on the red carpet, doing my best Wonder Soka impression this Wonder Woman Wednesday as I join for the next episode of the next Mando episode. Can't wait to see myself.
God damn it, Rosario. You're breaking NDAs.
Yeah, so that was kind of yeah, she kind of said that she was going to be in it. We'll see though. You know they do shit like that all the time. I did see the Acolyte set record-breaking run times. I did see that. Then the other one that I had was, let me see, gotta get to it. Dave Filoni basically confirmed that the big Star Wars TV crossover is still coming. So basically, he is saying that the Star Wars TV universe is going to all coincide and warp into one thing.
Please
So at some point, Mandalorian, Boba Fett, Ahsoka, everything's going to run into a whole new type of acolytes, whatever.
Star Wars Infinity Wars.
Yeah,
I don't think it'll be bad because I think I know what the main. I'm going to say this now. You can credit me now. The main fight's going to be Thrawn and the Chiss.
I don't know about the Chiss because the Chiss don't like Thrawn.
But if Thrawn returns, brings a Wayfinder, and kind of does what Mando does, is make his way back in the proper way and earns his respect back. I think the Chiss and the Chiss Ascendancy will be the fight for that, and they'll go after Mandalore because that's the most powerful thing. If you put the Mandalorians together, you can't defeat them.
Well, this is the thing about that. You got to remember that the Chiss Ascendancy doesn't ever attack first. They have to be fired upon first before they will attack. That's what Thrawn got kicked out of the Chiss Ascendancy for, because he was like, fuck that, we fired first. We ain't about to let them attack us first. They're going to kill us. Let's attack them. And that's why they kicked his ass out.
Knowing some dumb shit, it'll be like Kelly Moto or something firing on him. Something stupid, It'll be the dumbest thing for a war.
I don't think it's a possibility we could see the Chiss Ascendancy. I just don't think there's no point for them to come here. They're kind of happy where they're at. They don't get bothered. The little shit they got going on is like people from the outside coming to them. And I don't see there any reason right now, as the Star Wars franchise is that they would go to the Chiss Ascendancy. I just don't see that happening. What I do see happening is, because it was referenced, Thrawn was referenced in the last episode of Mandalorian, that we could see them come together to stop Thrawn. Thrawn is like the new emperor. He's going to come in and be like, that's who Moff Gideon is working for, and he's going to come in, and he's been...
I could see that. That'd be good. That'd be a great way to bring Thrawn and Ezra in.
Well,
that would be...
I think that Thrawn I think that they're already back. I think that they've already been seen. Thrawn has Ezra as his prisoner, and Ahsoka's trying to find him so she can rescue Ezra. Because why would Ahsoka in Mandalorian season 2 say, where is Thrawn? You know what I'm saying? I think that they're already back. I think they've already got back. However, maybe it'll be explained in Ahsoka. I think they already came back, and everybody knows that Thrawn is the one that's pulling the strings. Thrawn has kind of became the ultimate Moff, and he's the one calling the strings on everything that the Empire is doing now. And I think he has Ezra captured. That's why Ahsoka is looking for Thrawn. She doesn't say, where's Ezra? She says, where is Thrawn? So they know that Thrawn is alive. So I think that that's which way it's going to go. Just from, speculation on what's been said. And then Thrawn was referenced in this new episode of Mandalorian. We know Ahsoka's coming out, so I could see the mesh of, Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett. Boba Fett joins up with the Mandalorian. They all go to help Ahsoka fight the Empire, to rescue Ezra and defeat the Empire once and for all. And then we might even get a little bit of the Skeleton Crew in there. Maybe that's a good release for the Skeleton Crew, to show them show up in an episode of whatever that is, to show the Skeleton Crew who they're going to be. Because we got to remember, it's all going to be people that's based in this time.
I'm a little hesitant, because when you do that, it's a lot to juggle, and it's really easy to make a
bad story.
Yeah.
A lot of CGI action. We kind of seen it in the book of
Boba Fett. I mean, that's one of the reasons, like, I don't know. That's one of the reasons I wasn't a big fan of like the later Avengers movies, just because it gets carried away with itself instead of, hey, let's make a solid story that makes sense and continues on. It's like, hey, let's make a story to try to force all these characters together, and I don't know.
Well, and it's definitely something that Disney likes to do, so I could see it happening within this, because Dave is the one that's saying I trust more of what Dave says than I do John or anybody else. So if
But
Dave
instead
is
of going
saying
the
that it's going to
Avengers
come
route,
together,
if Dave looked at the CW and the Arrowverse, that was a lot of practical live action stuff, except for like the end of it where Oliver Queen passes away. That was very CGI. But like when they brought Flash into Green Arrow, it was live action. It was, I mean, Flash obviously has super speed, so it has to be some CGI. But when it comes to the fighting and the slow mo of the Flash, it was very practical work. Same thing with Green Arrow and Batwoman and Supergirl and all that stuff. It was a lot of practicality to it. So if they could hit the DC approach instead of the Marvel approach and do like on a planet war instead of in space or behind a green screen where it's like kind of a fight, I think it would go well. They just have to hit it in a certain way.
I don't
Maybe.
know, I think they
To
just
me,
shouldn't
it's
do
just
it.
it runs the risk of looking more like a big clusterfuck of vomit rather than like a well thought out, planned story. You know what I mean?
Which is fair.
All that jumping around is kind of just frustrating. It just gets frustrating because you're trying to keep up and you're watching one character do something and you're wondering what they just left you at while this other character was just fighting, and it's like, all right, what's going on with that character? Go back. Oh shit! Oh, go back to the other one. Now I want to. It's just confusing. It gets real. Kind of reminds me of like in the last book, you had all the Jedis. Everybody was fighting on Jeddah. And you had all these different voice actors saying something. You're trying to picture what's going on in your head, but there's so much going on, you can't ever get a coherent thought of what's happening. And even though they're putting it on a camera, we've seen it in the book of Boba Fett. It, just like you kind of wanted it to go back to the other character because you wanted to know what was going to happen. They never finished what happened before they jumped to another character. Then they jump back, and now you're interested in that character again. It kind of discombobulates everything and makes it look really, really strange. Gives you a weird feeling, and it takes away from the story, I think.
I'm kind of ready for this next episode of Mando. I'm not gonna lie.
Now that I know Ahsoka's going to be in, I'm super excited about it.
I'm not excited for that. It's just we saw Bo-Katan's home fall. I want to see what she wants to do. Because Din.
She's way more
Din's
badass than Mando is.
Well, and Din's gonna sympathize with her. He's gonna be like, yeah, I watched them bomb it. He had to talk her out of going after a whole freaking Starfleet. Like, Jesus, she was ready to just die in the blaze of glory against 80,000 freaking TIE fighters. But I think Din's gonna help take the Mandalorian sector over. I think they're gonna go and get the Night Owls, Cosca Reeves and all that, which sucks because Sasha Banks. Yeah, Sasha Banks isn't. She says she's not coming back.
She is coming back. They released the keychains.
Oh yeah, I got the keychain. Son of a bitch. I got the keychain yesterday. I literally got Sasha Banks' keychain yesterday.
Well, it's a 9 keychain set, and it says Series 3 characters on it, and her and that other dude Wolf or whatever his name is.
Wolves.
Yeah, they're both on it. So they kind of like accidentally leaked that they're going to be within the series.
I would love to see Cosca Reeves, Sasha Banks' character Cosca Reeves to come back because she was a badass. Fighting in a bar.
From my understanding, Chris said, I saw that Damon Lindelof, he's directing HBO Watchmen show, is working on a Star Wars movie now too. We need a running list of people making Star Wars movies. His movie actually is one of the movies that Bob Iger shelved. He didn't like the storyline. And so his, Patty Jenkins, and one other person's is all already got shelved. The only one that I know of right now that's still being, and I wouldn't even say it's being worked on, because from my understanding, it's not even, they ain't even start Taika and the chick that he's supposed to be writing it with haven't even started writing the damn movie yet. And Taika's already talking about being starring in it. It's like, dude, how are you starring in something you ain't even wrote yet? Like, they haven't even started writing it yet. So I know there's been 3 movies that's already been, the Iger already shelved. And I'm pretty sure it was Damon Lindelof. There's another guy, and then Patty Jenkins. They've all 3 been shelved. They're not going to be done. They're not even, he didn't like the scripts. And I actually talked about that on Star Wars Audio Archives. Let's see what else. And that's all I had on news. That was the only 2 things. There was another thing, but I didn't. After reading through it, I was like, I don't really think it's that important. It's not really that big of a deal. Like, we kind of already know that.
So we go to the quiz?
Yeah, we can go to the quiz.
Stop right there, you rebel scum. Prepare yourself for the Star Wars Impossible quiz. Blast them.
Okay, so this one is going to be a little bit easier. I tried to make it a little bit easier for you.
I don't believe you. Every time you say that, it is such a false advertisement for these quizzes
It's not
for me.
a false
Because
advertisement.
it is though, because like I never get any when you say it's going to be easy for us.
Okay, question number 1. In the second Battle of Geonosis, who were the 2 Padawans that were instrumental in achieving a Republic victory?
Ahsoka and Barriss Offee.
Yep.
Sorry, that was Clone Wars.
Well done. Well done.
Can't help. Can't help
gotten
that.
Ahsoka. I didn't know the other one.
Okay, where did Darth Sidious meet Anakin Skywalker for the first time?
Oh! At the opera
No, hold
as
on.
Darth Sidious or as Palpatine himself.
Same person.
Well, yeah, but like, are
At
we
the-
talking
at the
before or after he
celebration
revealed himself?
at the end of episode 1? Like, oh, we'll watch your career with great interest.
Yep.
Okay,
That's right.
okay. That
On
was
the
a
boat.
trick one for me because, like, if you want to be technical here, where Anakin meets Palpatine for the first time, I was going to say that. But when he meets Sidious being Sidious was at the opera when he talks about Darth Plagueis.
Oh, like
Okay.
when it's like kind of revealed. Like
Yeah, yeah. So to me, I was being super technical about that.
it's like an alter ego or some shit.
Yeah, you know, it's Bruce Wayne Batman kind of shit, you know?
When did he meet Batman for the first time? Well, he met Bruce. Yeah, okay.
He met Bruce Wayne at a banquet. He met Batman in an alley.
Stupid.
Okay. Gungans are native inhabitants of the planet Naboo, and they can live on land or under the water. So how did they breathe under the water?
They have
Gills.
gills. Yeah!
Nope.
Oh,
They can't. They just hold a certain amount of air.
bubbles. Oh,
Ah,
damn
I got
They
it.
hold their- Oh
They
yeah, no
can't- they
shit.
just
No
hold their
wonder.
breath for a long
That's why they
time.
live in the fucking like. That was stupid.
Like, the second you and I sat there and said there's gills, I was like looking at the Gungan city. I'm like, those Gungan cities don't have water in
Yeah,
them. What
if
am
there
I
were
talking
gills,
about?
there would be water everywhere. Exactly.
I told you I made this, you know what I'm saying? I made this easier.
Yeah.
How long was it in between the first time R2-D2 and C-3PO seen each other to the second time they seen each other?
Oh, 10 years.
So the first time they see each other was
Garrison got it.
Oh yeah,
10 years.
because like the first time they see each other was in episode 1,
Right.
and then the it jumps into Empire or not Empire, Clone War or Attack of the Clones.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
That's a 10
Fold
years.
and Bede, the two-headed announcer for the Power Race and Phantom Menace, are what species?
Hydra.
Hydra. They from the Hydra species.
Oh, Hydra. Yeah, I don't know that one. Siamese species.
I couldn't tell you that one.
They're Troigs.
Troigs. I've
Yeah,
never
Troig.
even heard.
Troig. Troig.
That's something else.
There you go.
Duo.
Weird-
Duo Pokemon.
Clinton asked a
Dude.
question before. He said,
Weird-ass
didn't
body.
Thrawn leave to help the Empire on the grounds the Empire doesn't do anything to their planet? No. Thrawn got kicked out of
No,
the Ascendancy because he he fired first. And he kept doing it. They kept giving him chances, and everybody would, stick up for him. And then this last time, they said, no, you got to go. And then they dropped his ass off on a planet. They kicked his ass out of the Ascendancy, and they dropped his ass off on a planet. Then when he gets picked up by the Empire, he gets a meeting with the Emperor, and he asks the Emperor, if you don't do anything to my planet, I will become one of your greatest generals, or I will be yeah, that's what happened.
Beautiful storyline.
So no, yeah, he doesn't. The Ascendancy kicked his ass out because he didn't like following rules. Because he was smart. He was like, dude, why are we going to wait for people to blow us up and then shoot at them? Fuck that. We attack it first, and they can't do that. They have to be fired on upon it first. And they cannot ever be aggressive. That's part of their, rules. I might have asked this question already, but I couldn't remember it. And I didn't feel like going all the way back through all the damn questions I've already asked. What was Luke Skywalker's Aunt Beru's full married name?
Lauren? No.
God, I can't remember this one. I remember you asking it, but I can't remember what the answer to it.
I thought I was looking at it, and I'm like, dude, I think I already asked this, but I couldn't remember. And I'm like, dude, there's freaking a shit ton of fucking questions. I wasn't about to go back through all of them and see.
Beru's her first name, so it's her last name or something. I don't remember. It was some. No. It was some weird. It sounded like. I mean, like Native American almost.
You're getting close.
It was like.
Beru burnt Chris.
Chris, you crazy.
Oh, Chris, man. You're on one, bro.
All right, so the answer is Beru White Son Lars.
Yeah, I knew it. Yeah, see, it sounds like.
Okay.
Sounds very Native American-esque.
Yeah.
Who was the president of the Commerce Guild during the Clone Wars?
Of the Commerce.
Oh, come on.
And this was actually just on.
Wam Tumbar.
No. This was actually, it's a girl. She was just actually on.
Oh, it's the girl. I can't remember. The blue girl.
No. She was actually just on. She's in that episode though. That's the episode she's in.
I don't know.
I can't remember.
She was also on the Separatist Council.
Yeah, that ain't helpful. I didn't pay attention to them.
She's ugly. Okay.
Her name is Shumai.
Shumai. That sounds Chinese.
Shumai, don't follow me. Shumai.
Pork shumai. That's good food. Pork shumai.
Okay.
God, I'm hungry. Stush.
On what planet was the revered Hondo Anaka born?
Hondo Anaka.
Hondo Anaka. Space pirate.
He seems like he'd be born somewhere pretty shady.
Corellia. That's pretty shady.
Coruscant?
Nope.
Like on the bottom?
No, what's the planet they're from? Because he's a species. And most of his pirates are his same species.
Yeah, they're Wakini or Wakani or some shit like that, whatever they're called.
Honda Toyotathon.
Born in Japan.
Hondo Hanaka.
Hondo Hanaka.
All right. He was born on Florum.
Florence?
Florum. He was born on Florum.
Forum. No.
Yeah, because he talks about his mom when he's like, "Oh,
Tallahassee,
my great
Florida." Yeah, he could probably be from Tallahassee.
But no, when he talks about his mom, he's like, "Oh, my great mother." And when we were on Florum, she would, he'd get into, and then he talks about his mom being a scoundrel and a cheat. And it's like, damn, and I loved her very much.
Oh, hey CJ, I want to ask you: have you played Ghost of Tsushima or Tsushima? Tsushima. That's it.
On Xbox?
Yeah, or a PlayStation. Yes. Dude, they need to do that like sword combat and like almost copy and paste it for the lightsaber combat in the next Star Wars game.
That would be hard because they'd have to get the rights to it. That's a whole different
know.
gaming company. You'd
I
have to
know.
literally pay them millions
But,
because
like-
that sword fighting is beautiful.
At least make it pretty similar because that was flawless.
Oh yeah. You just need to let us chop people in half. Like, let it happen.
Let me chop
so-
people in half.
I was having a discussion because I don't know if y'all been like paying attention to the news, but I have a suggestion for everybody, and I think everybody should this is my prediction.
Invest
We should
in
all
Bitcoin.
learn Chinese.
Yes. 你们需
Because
要会中文.
I don't know
How
if
about you
y'all
shut up over there speaking Chinese and
Say
have an
some Hao.
Australia shirt on? Got me fucked up.
and I kind of want to talk about this because I think everybody needs to know, and everybody might not watch the news, but China's president just got reelected. He also bartered a deal with Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Iran for them to cease fire to get nuclear weapons from them. And yesterday he met up with Putin.
Bro, Chinese.
This is not looking very good for the rest of the world. And I just want to let all of our listeners, plus you guys, be aware of that. Everybody might want to start paying attention to what's going on in the news and what's going on with things.
Learn
Because this
Chinese.
is some scary shit. You know, because we're in a point that this is basically Star Wars being made in the real world. Like the things that are happening in Star Wars is basically happening right now in our world. You got the separatists, which is all these bad countries that want to fucking kill us. You know what I'm saying? And the rest of the world and conquer the world are basically out, and Korea. I guess fucking King Jin or whatever fuck his name is. I guess this motherfucker told the president of China that he would become a state of China. If China attacked America, he would fight with them and become a state of China, and he would be like the fucking governor of the state instead of being the king of North Korea. Like right now, he's the fucking king. You're gonna give up your kingship just to see America fall? That's just an
bro.
asshole.
Yeah, bro.
That's some asshole shit right there. You would give up being a king in order just to see us fucking fall?
And you also see that Joe Rogan podcast because Russia's like, they're basically at their wits' end. They think they're going to fall apart soon. You know what I mean? They're a dying country.
Well,
So they're
think about this.
desperate.
I was thinking about like this. What if the whole war with Afghanistan was just a ploy? It was never really serious because they knew that we wouldn't fight them, but we would send them aid. We done sent them billions and billions of dollars in weaponry that weakens our own military. Maybe Russia was never in fucking really wanting to take over Ukraine. They just knew that we would send our military stuff over there, all of our weaponry and stuff over there, and that would weaken us. Because now we done sent them all this fucking shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just because yesterday when they was talking about he just got the president of China just got reelected, and then and he was meeting up with Putin. Last week they were talking about he bartered a deal with Iran, Iraq, and Iran, Afghanistan, and Pakistan for a ceasefire over there. I was like, what? A couple weeks before that, the North Korean thing happened. And now he's meeting with Putin. It's like, dude, and he won't even take our president's calls ever since we blew up their dumbass balloon. You know what I'm saying? And if you follow the little Biden little family history thing, dude, their whole family got their money off of the shit off of China. You know what I'm saying? The whole Biden laptop, his son's laptop, and all that shit, incriminates all of them for getting money from China. So it's like, dude, and do you know, this was something else. If we're in a major conflict, we do not have elections during the conflict. If we're in a major conflict, we do not have elections that would keep Biden as the president. And if your president is working for China and China's kicking your ass, You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. This was really bothering me yesterday because I was at work and I'm just sitting there and I'm thinking about it all. And I'm like, dude, I don't think people are really aware of how fucked up this is. Like, and the news don't tell us shit no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, the news don't give us no real information. They give us this half-ass propaganda shit. Half the time it be lies. You don't even know what to believe anymore. And it's like, dude, what the hell is like, does nobody realize how bad all this is? I mean, I got to think about it. I got kids that are in, like, Garrison. You and CJ are both under 35 years old. If they reinstate the draft, y'all are drafted. That sucks.
Yep.
There ain't no more Star Wars podcasts. There ain't no more internet. The Chinese people own the internet. You know what I'm saying? Shit. This is bad. And I just wanted to bring it to light to everybody, you know, to think about this stuff. And if, you know, everybody needs to be like, really think about it because this is some serious shit. Like, never in my life have I been really in like really concerned about war. You know what I'm saying? Not no real war that I thought we might get our ass whooped, you know? You know, that somebody that we like nuclear war and bad shit like that, and you know what I'm saying, the bad shit that could happen. And this shit is like right at our front door. And people are running around here bitching about, you know, which Star Wars movie they're gonna make. And it might not be no Disney. They gotta blow that fucker off the planet. You know what I'm saying? Whole Florida be gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit is bad. This shit is really bad. So I want everybody to be aware and keep an eye on things. Because, you know what I'm saying, we need to band together as a country, and we need to stand for what this country is about. And stand with our allies across the world. You got to think about it. If anything bad happens, it's not going to start here. It's going to start in Europe or, you know what I'm saying, somewhere like that. And these are our allies. Australia. I mean, we just sent some nuclear submarines to Australia because China's making a move on Australia. They're putting boats and shit in the water in Australia. Russia just shot down gassed one of our drones and caused it to crash. A lot of bad shit is happening. And this could change the way the whole world is. So we need to be aware and think about things that you have to do to keep your family safe. And, you know, because look, we couldn't even handle a fucking generic pandemic. There wasn't even a true pandemic. Motherfucker couldn't even get some toilet paper to wipe their ass. Now we're talking about possible fucking World War III. And it's not looking too good. It's really looking like they're being aggressive. And I just want everybody to freaking be, you know, to think about it and keep this on their mind. I know it's a fucked up way to end the episode, so we're going to end it on a little bit better note. But I just want everybody to keep it in mind. Because tomorrow, it ain't going to happen tonight. So tomorrow, we're going to be watching the Clone Wars animated movie, which is one of my favorite movies. I love the Clone Wars, the clowns. I love the clowns. No, I hate clowns. Fucking clowns are scary as shit.
The Clown Wars.
I love the Clone Wars animated series. And we are definitely going to be watching it. So same thing that's been happening on all the previous ones will go on probably about 15, 20 minutes earlier than we start the show. Give everybody the link. That way everybody can get on the link and then come over and watch the animated series with us. So that's what we'll be doing. And I guess that's it for today's show. You guys got anything else? I'm sorry to fuck up everybody's day with the bad news shit, but I just want everybody to know, you know what I'm saying?
I was worried. He's worried for our safety.
I care about everybody, and I want everybody to be okay. You know what I'm saying? We got a wonderful thing in this world, and I don't want us to lose it. I don't want our allies to lose it. I think that I want us to all just be aware of what's going on and keep an eye out on your environment. Darth Cardi said, yo, I'm out. Y'all have a good day. May the force be with you. I'm sorry if I ran you off. Book bye, everyone. And may the force be with you. Good not book. What? Good not book. All right. All right, guys. We will see you guys on tomorrow. Peace, and may the force be with you.
Thank you for tuning in to LSR. If you've enjoyed the show, consider subscribing so you can be notified when new episodes are released. If you would like to be a guest on the show or just want to give us some feedback, feel free to email us. You can also reach out to us on all major social media platforms. Lightsaber Radio is produced by Pickfilm Media and is a Swaycast original, starring Garrison Turcott, CJ Elliott, and Kyle McDaniel. And don't forget to join us next time for more adventures in a galaxy far, far away.